We have a very interesting question today from one of the seniors. We need to answer this. Something to do with the IRA. It says, "Hi Jovia, I inherited the IRA from my father with a simple annuity of $300 at 70 years for 10 years. And the RMD is 3,600 per year. I received a 1099R from the website mentioned with a fair market value of 2,500 at December 31st, 2025. How can I deal with this 1099R?" Interesting topic. For this matter, I have to just meet this senior and we talk about one-on-one because it has a lot of factors to consider here. But this is something we should know about RMD or IRA or this kind of a scenario, this type of 1099. Before we even temper to answer this question, because I know there are so many computations and considerations to be looked at, but let's first understand basics, then we go to specific question. For this matter, I have to meet him and we see what is going on and how can we deal with it. Now, for general purpose, here we are. The first thing to consider is age requirement. First of all, unless you're 73 years old, those who are born before 1950, they must have started taking their RMD. Those who are born after 1951, you must make 73 years before we even start thinking about this money. Number two, know that this money on the 1099R is reportable income, usually taxable income. Number three, know that if you don't take out this money, the required RMD, in a particular year, you're going to be penalized for not taking out this money. Number four, also know that if you just made it 73 years, for your case, sir, we need to meet and get facts about you because you just inherited it from your father. We need to know. But if you made 73 years in 2025, you have up to April 1st, 2026 to have taken away the RMD for that year. There's what we call the delay, the year delay. That is the year in which you turn 73. So still in this same year 2026, you can take your second RMD and you should take this RMD out by 31st December 2026. You must have taken it out. What happens if you don't take this out? Penalty. Then this looks similar to a question someone brought in about 401k. I think I should use the same opportunity. 401k, my dear, you a lady, you must have turned 59 and a half years at least to withdraw from your 401k. However, there are exceptions. If you do a withdrawal before 59 and a half years, expect a 10% penalty. It's called the early withdrawal penalty. Now, if you're already 59, we shall see the details. However, there is what we call a 55 rule of 55. If you're leaving, for example, you're working with an organization and you're leaving that employer when you're already 55 or older, you may be exempted or you may be pardoned on the early withdrawal penalty. If not that, the penalty is waiting. However, we have what we call exceptions, and those exceptions include the hardship situations. For example, death, disability, like permanent disability, and also things like hardship, like serious hardship. Maybe there was a disaster and you needed this money for your rescue. There is what we call exception to the law. Also know there are some specific considerations in this matter. We have specific considerations we look at per case, like military, if you're in the military, or if you are having medical bills, if you're paying these heavy medical bills. Lastly, if you're buying your first home or you're buying home for the first time, we also have those specific considerations. So this question, how do I deal with this 1099R? We need to meet, because we need to see, was this distribution taken out entirely or some of the distribution. Number 2, we need to find out whether the distribution, the amount we have, you mentioned the 3600, we need to match and see the fair market value. We are likely to take the fair market value at that particular time. This is an annuity. We want to confirm these withdrawals you've been getting. You said 300 per month. So there are so many factors to consider. This is not a question I can say yes or no. This is a question that calls for further discussion. But generally, those are RMDs. If you get that 1099R, let's talk about it. There is also a difference there, because I said it's taxable, but we also have those that have Roth 401k that already, have already paid taxes. So we need a lot to consider here, not just a yes or no answer. Thank you.